The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.
EU Commissioner for Neighbourhood and Enlargement, Olivier Varhey, on Wednesday said there is still a chance for the authorities to reconsider this legislative initiative, draft law on transparency of foreign influence. We stand with the Georgian people and their choice for democracy, human rights, fundamental rights, and the rule of law, and their choice for a European future for their country, Varhey wrote on X. Some businesses are already talking about the deterioration of the investment environment. According to them, investors have already stopped new projects and current ones are also under question. Kakhash Arabidze, managing partner of law firm BLB, says that international media are actively covering the developments in the country. Therefore, all foreign investors who intend to do business in Georgia are aware of the severity of the situation. According to him, the investment image of the country can be ruined soon, but its restoration requires a long time. Georgia is attempting to join the EU and NATO. Those organizations have certain standards and certain referees that say what the rules are, and we simply want Georgia to continue to match those standards rather than to deviate. James O'Brien, Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs of the United States of America, said at a press conference. According to him, the USA wants Georgia to have a continuous peaceful path to the European Union and NATO. This is The Checkpoints. I'm Elena Guangelashvili, author and the host of the show, and the Checkpoints team is ready to sum up Business and Economics Week for you. Democracy in Georgia is at a critical juncture, according to a major new report, which was launched at a public event in London earlier this week. In this new white paper titled Bidzina's Law, the State Capture of Georgia, Robert Amsterdam, the international lawyer representing George Bachiashvili, highlights how Georgian Dream founder Bidzina Ivanishvili has weaponized the Georgian judicial system to target its political and personal opponents, infringing on due process and rule of law and driving Georgia away from its European aspirations. The white paper presents the issue of eroding judicial independence through the lens of the case brought against Ivanishvili's former employee George Bachiashvili to expose a larger problem of state capture taking place throughout the country. Bachiashvili faces criminal charges related to a cryptocurrency investment from more than 7 years ago, charges which Amsterdam insists are wholly false and unsubstantiated. The publication of the white paper on Bachiashvili comes on the heels of Georgian Dream's decision to reintroduce a Russian-style foreign agents law, which prompted widespread street protests in the capital Tbilisi in late April. Robert Amsterdam sat down in an exclusive interview with The Checkpoints. Mr. Amsterdam, thank you for your time and thank you for taking our questions. First of all, let us start with the update on Bachiashvili case. What is the situation at this point?
Look, we are waiting for the trial to begin. It should have begun weeks ago. We have no explanation for the delay. And we're simply in hold mode at this point.
You wrote an article, quite a long article with very interesting points and focuses in it. What prompted you to write this article?
Well, we came out a few days ago in English, and it will be out soon in Georgian, with a white paper called Bidzina's Law, the State Capture of Georgia. And state capture is a political concept that was developed in the 90s to describe Russia under the oligarchs and Yeltsin. And it's very applicable to Georgia today, a country that is manipulated by the figure of Ivanishvili, who is essentially a sultan in Georgia. There is no independent court system. He is destroying rule of law. He has complete control of the Georgian Dream Party, as you can tell by the heroic behavior of people on the streets. His will does not reflect the popular will, and this is typical in states that are captured, as is Georgia today, by this gentleman.
You described the fears that are driving Ivanishvili in this white paper. In this paper, you maintain that Georgi Bachiashvili tried even to persuade Ivanishvili that the U.S. was not behind the Credit Suisse fraud against him. Did Bachiashvili ever mention like this new term that we are getting more and more used to from the Georgian Dream and Ivanishvili himself, this global war party? Because recently in his speech, Ivanishvili openly talked about the global war party and its intentions without defining what the global war party is. And he said that this party is trying to mess things up in Georgia.
Look, I don't think Georgia was aware of this term. To be very frank with you, I first heard it in Ivanishvili's recent speech. Georgia's perception with Ivanishvili was always that Ivanishvili was growing increasingly paranoid of the West. And clearly, I mean, the speech that Ivanishvili gave recently is frightening. It's frightening with even questions being left as to the man's mental health. It seems to be a product of a mind that is consumed with paranoia and fear. And part of the reason I believe he's attacked my client is because my client has both brains and capital, and therefore has the means to become someone that he could view as an opponent. And to somebody in a captured state, they seek to destroy anyone who has resources that can ever be used to challenge them. So the Georgia War Party speech is the kind of speech more befitting Kim Il-jung than a European leader. And it was something that goes, I think, almost even beyond some of Putin's rantings at the Munich conference in 2007. I mean, this is pretty crazy stuff.
I don't know to what extent you follow the events that are unfolding in Georgia around the Russian law, but James O'Brien yesterday said that he was surprised to hear that Ivanishvili believed that he is already sanctioned when there are no sanctions, no Western sanctions imposed on him yet. Do such fears, do such exaggerations fit into the profile that you are providing in this white paper about Ivanishvili, and what is his profile specifically?
Well, look, in the paper we develop the story of Ivanishvili, and we put in one place all of the factors that have led to the sultanship and the capture today. And when you actually put this together, his dominance and control over the courts and some of the background noise, the fact that Georgian special services have been trained by the Belarusians, all of this seems to have been acted out on the streets of Tbilisi. And you know, I follow this foreign law very closely. I was involved in opposing it in Russia. I'm aware of what's happened in Georgia since I was first working in Georgia in 2007. So obviously, I'm greatly distressed by the idea that the veto will be overridden. And again, refer people to this document, which I think sets out how Ivanishvili has surrounded himself with a group of people who are all afraid to actually provide him with much independent advice, and all appear economically dependent on him. Very similar to that extent to what we see in Russia with Putin.
Yes, since you were involved in this law in Russia, do you see the similarities? Because the main argument of the Georgian Dream is that this is not a Russian law, and you know that the main slogan of the people in streets against this law is "No to Russian law." Is it a Russian law or not?
No, it's absolutely a Russian law. It's absolutely a law that within the captured state can be used to destroy civil society, as are the captured courts. You can't look at the law in isolation from a legal system that is hopelessly broken. And that's the situation in Georgia. And in fairness to Ivanishvili, the system was broken before, but it's now been accelerated with this sort of one-man rule. And of course, his recent resumption of power is very important. There is a plan afoot. It's very clear that these actions are thought out. A question that has to be asked is the role of Russia, because what he's doing seems very programmed, seems very consistent with the paranoia we're seeing from the Kremlin, seems more, if you will, militaristic, ties into Kremlin activities in Moldova, Ukraine, Kyrgyzstan. So this seems to be broader than just Georgia.
So would you say that the main motivation of Ivanishvili at this point is like direct directions from Russia, or is it just his money? He already mentioned that he had lost $2 billion because of this fraud and because of the Global War Party.
Look, it is, I am not his psychiatrist. We can't be in his mind. But he is a leader that is subject to pressure from Moscow. He is a leader that also made a tremendous amount of his wealth in Russia and has been deeply involved in Russia, as you know. So the fact that he is becoming something of a Yanukovych figure in Georgia is very frightening and very, very concerning to all of those who care about the future of Georgia.
Mr. Amsterdam, what would you say, and if you know, of course, what would you say about the offshore law, and where does this offshore law fit in this bigger puzzle? Because that was the law that was adopted in 3 hearings in one day. Of course, many saw it was Ivanishvili's personal interest for this law to be pushed. How does it fit in this bigger picture?
Well, we discuss it in the white paper. I call it the Batumi Regeneration Act. Essentially, he's going to make Georgia friendly to oligarchs who are facing problems in the West, including himself. It allows a massive repatriation of income from offshore for Ivanishvili personally, as well as stimulating money from abroad relating to Russians and others facing sanctions. So it's consistent with Russia's goal of maximizing sanctions avoidance, and his own goal of repatriation without taxation.
But this won't be an easy process, right? With all the sanctions and all the scrutiny about the sanctions. In which case it will be easier to make this law work as you describe what Ivanishvili wants at this point.
Well, I mean, look, the law essentially allows him and others to repatriate income into Georgia without tax. I think it's clear, it's simple. It certainly violates every concept of fairness for the Georgian people, and confirms the sultanate idea, the idea that he's putting his own interests above those of the people.
Do you see any signs of transparency being important value in all of this? Because this law is named after transparency, right? So it should bring more transparency to the table.
Look, this law and the transparency naming comes right out of George Orwell's 1984. The Ministry of Peace being the Ministry of War. I mean, these labels have absolutely no meaning, and they are an attempt to demonstrate cynically the unlimited power Ivanishvili holds in Georgia.
What is the role of business community in all of this? In our last interview, you mentioned that business should be more outspoken in defending Bachiashvili as well, because the question then arises, who will be next? Now the picture has expanded, right? So how do you see the role of the business community in Georgia, and do you follow their statements, and what is your perception? How is business community dealing with this situation?
Look, I follow the business community in Georgia as well, by the way, as the business community in Ukraine. And I think to some extent in Georgia, they're being led by the street. What we've seen in Georgia is a widespread demonstration of people voting for their feet, for freedom, for Europe. And I think this is something that the business community, I know, will embrace. And, unfortunately, my client will not suffer this fate alone. His case is emblematic of the risks to the business community and why it's very important for them to, I think, rally around this case and also further protect themselves and ensure that their voices are heard during the next electoral period.
By the way, is it your advice to Giorgi Bachiashvili to be low profile on this Russian law? And I'm asking this because I remember, and in this white paper, you also highlight that all his problems basically started when he explicitly supported Ukraine in Russia-Ukraine war and tried to defend the West and Western values. But today we do not hear Bachiashvili on Russian law, for example, specifically.
Well, I think in fairness to George, his voice he was in the forefront of many of these issues. But when the streets are alive with hundreds of thousands of people marching, I am assuming he feels that in some ways it isn't necessary for him to join. The fact that he's essentially had us take the time and effort to put together the white paper, I think makes it clear that he remains a thought leader in terms of Georgia. And I have to say, I've had the privilege to represent many very important business leaders, and I believe the way George has acted through this is not only courageous, but exemplary. He is a brilliant mind that has really put Georgia's interests first. He stood up to this assault on his person and on his very freedom heroically. And I am sure there will be more to come. And I'm sure, as he did last time at court, he will speak out when he deems it appropriate.
Does the path towards EU, looking at those 9 steps that Georgia has to fulfill in order to open the negotiations for the EU integration, do you think this is also viewed by Ivanishvili as a fear that he won't have all that power that you have summarized in one phrase, and that's a state capture?
There's no question. There is no question that this is a man who fears transparency, who fears rule of law, who fears fairness, who fears the development of those in Georgia like Bakishvili, who are putting Georgia first. This is a man who has put himself over the interests of his nation. It's shameful, and I hope it will be reversed. And I hope the EU plays their cards correctly with Georgia, because it's very important for Europe to rally around the people of Georgia. As frustrating as this recent passage of the bill may be.
Do you see sanctions on the way? Because James O'Brien said yesterday that if the law proceeds with the pace it has been proceeding, then there might be sanctions, individual sanctions for those who are responsible about this law.
Look, I think it's very possible. Also very possible because of the massive amount of subversion of sanctions that goes on in Georgia every day. So yes, I think it's highly possible.
What do you mean about the massive subversion of sanctions that's going on in Georgia daily?
I think it's well documented that there are people in Georgia who are very involved in working around sanctions and supplying Russia with equipment and technology. I'm not going to go into further detail, but that's well known, and that is also a precipitator of sanctions.
But why doesn't the West talk about it openly then, if these are the documented facts?
Look, they've certainly spoken to me about it. I'm not sure why it's not more public, but it's not my it's not really in my purview to get into that. This is information that Western governments have, and I think it will come out probably during another round of sanctions.
And my last question, and thank you for taking your time. What price could Georgia pay for this? Because it won't be easy for Georgia, for example, to draw investments when the government or the the ruling party will be sanctioned, right? Or it won't be easy for Georgia to draw institutional investors when the path Georgia is taking towards Russia, diverting from its Euro-Atlantic integration, even though people are in streets and even though we see that majority of people are against these decisions that the ruling party is taking unanimously without listening to its people. What could be the price?
The price could be very high. But again, I am someone who remains hopeful. There's an election coming. There has been an outpouring of support for the people of Georgia. The behavior of Ivanishvili has been shameful, has been obvious, has been non-transparent, and to some extent has been off the charts mentally. This speech is shocking. So I am hopeful that in this present situation, there may be opportunities for change. And you know, all we can do is wait and see. And we're translating the paper into Georgian. It'll be available for distribution shortly, and I would commend it to your viewers.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amsterdam, for your time, and thank you for talking to us about the white paper before it comes out in Georgian. Thank you so much. What was new in business this week? More news and outlook from Natia Taktakishvili. Porsche Center Tbilisi has gained historical recognition in the world competition. The PACE 2023 award was given to the company in the category of after-sales service in the international competition. Porsche Center Tbilisi took second place among the countries of the Central and Eastern region. The award ceremony was held in Lisbon this year, and representatives of more than 60 countries participated in the world competition. The winners were selected by a specially selected jury at the end of the year. The jury selects the winners according to 5 main criteria, including service efficiency, spare part business, and marketing activities. I think after gaining this award, the support from Porsche head office for Porsche Center Tbilisi will increase significantly. After this recognition, our team has the ambition of the first place. Our primary task is to maintain the advanced position and, in the best case, to fight for the first place in the competition, said Irakli Imnadze, manager of the after-sales service of Porsche Center Tbilisi. Porsche Center Tbilisi, included in Tegeta Holding, has been operating on the Georgian market since 2011. The company offers customers the latest premium brand cars, as well as full of diagnostic and repair services, regional parts and accessories. A 350-room residential and investment project is being implemented in Batumi, in the vicinity of Batumi International Airport. Lagoon Resort combines 3 blocks and various resort-type infrastructure, including indoor and outdoor pools, recreation areas, gyms, cinemas, commercial spaces, workshops, children's area, indoor parking, and etc. The project consists of 3 blocks, of which Block A and 130 rooms will be included under the international brand, while blocks B and C will have 220 high-level apartments. As Georgi Dolidze, director of the management company HSC Group, said during his visit to Real Estate Prospect, an international hotel brand will enter the management of Lagoon Resort, and the franchise will be signed at the end of May. You know that there is no space in the central part of Batumi, so our second project, Lagoon Resort, is being built on the side of the airport, which is fully suitable for a resort-type accommodation facilities. There will be a recreation area of up to 4,500 square meters, indoor and outdoor pools. The project has 3 blocks with a total of 350 apartments. A franchise agreement will be signed with one of the international brands at the end of May, said Georgi Dolidze. Marona Fashion Agency starts promoting Georgian products on the international markets. Very soon, Marona Collection and other Georgian brands will be available in France at Champs-Élysées branch of Galeries Lafayette. The founder of Marona Fashion Agency, Maduro Manadze, spoke about this in TV program Women's Narrative. As a member of the board of directors of Georgian Clothing and Fashion Association and the regional manager of the official fashion weeks of London, Tokyo, and Paris, I have important international contacts through which it's possible to find new export markets for Georgian brands. We started working in this direction on May 4. For this purpose, a very high-ranking meeting was held with the director of Galeries Lafayette, where we presented top Georgian brands. We
aroused the interest to start cooperation, and we agreed that the first collaboration in 2025 will take place in a form that will bring great success to Georgian companies, said Mado Romanadze. According to her, there will be a multi-brand space where up to 10 Georgian designers will be presented at Lafayette. Georgian brand Marona collection is completely Georgian, uses Georgian cultural elements in its collections and creates clothes. The Georgian brand continues to operate successfully in Japanese market. Marona collections can be found in Marona showroom in Seibu shopping mall in Tokyo. Confectionery company Sandomi is starting to work on a diabetic line. Tekla Talakwadze, the company's marketing and public relations manager, told BMDG. According to her, the company is constantly trying to expand its range and introduce new products to the market. However, because the market is saturated with competing companies, it represents a significant challenge for them. The main challenge is a stock problem. Therefore, we always have to retrain technologists and find new recipes with both European and Ukrainian professionals. We are trying to expand the assortment and study as much as possible. This year, we also want to launch a diabetic line. It's true that the production of the diabetic line has not yet started, but we are consulting. This is a very long process, but next year we will definitely have a diabetic line, Talakwadze said. Tina Maharadze, the strategic development manager of Healthy Water, declares that Nabeghlavi will be sold in Korea. In general, the company is growing and gradually we need to expand the exporting markets. Our products are sold in 27 countries. This year we added Turkey and Korea. We try to be diversified and the share of each country does not exceed 5%. Korea was added to our list this year. We have already sent the products and received feedback, said Maharadze. According to her, the products under the brand of Rauch are exported abroad, although Nabeghlavi is the main brand of Healthy Water. The works are actively being done in this direction as well. In general, we actively work in direction of exports, including the USA, Japan, and etc., Tina Maharadze said. A new gastro space such as Shnike was opened in the capital city of Tbilisi, Merab Kosovo Street. The facility will combine the concept of a restaurant, pub and grill, offering guests a wide choice of beer and dishes. The cafe bar is equipped with high-quality JBL audio and video system for sport events. Such as Shnike has a special space for sports lovers where guests not only can watch Napoli football matches on a big screen, but also have the opportunity to join the Kvaratskhelia Fan Club, established in Sachasnike, which is planning many interesting events in the future. The restaurant, pub and grill concept were created by the Hospitality Business Development Agency Gastronaut, and all their projects are characterized by modern and creative approaches, which is a guarantee of success. Along with Gastronaut team, the founder of Sachasnike is Badagoni, a company with many years of experience and success. Georgian coffee shop Rusavelis temporarily stopped the operation. Mariam Datukishvili, the founder of the facility, told BNDG about it. According to her, the brand still exists, although the company had to change its location for some reasons, but she does not explain the details. At this stage, we are in the process of looking for a new facility, although the brand still exists, and as soon as we find a new facility, Rusavelis will continue to operate. We even got a trademark that will be ready in a month. Due to the fact that renovation of the street in the one city of Rusaveli Avenue should start, we are looking for such a place so that we don't have to change the place again. We want our facility to be located in the city center again. At this stage, we are in the process of searching. However, the prices for leasing the space have increased a lot, Datukishvili says. Currently, Chinese company Coco Bubbles Tea is operating in the place of Rusaveli's coffee shop. Georgi Chincharauli, the founder of Cafe Sunflowers located in Shatili, talks to BMDG about the challenges in the region and notes that reservations in local hotels are quite small. According to him, all the facilities in the region are closed at this stage because there is still bad weather in Shatili. However, the residents talk about the reduced bookings compared to the previous years and say that this year will be weak in terms of tourists. At this stage, nothing is operating. The routes were open just 3 or 4 days ago because, as you know, due to the heavy snowfall, the roads are sometimes closed. The tourist season usually starts from June because there are still rains and cold. According to my information, bookings in local hotels are quite small. Tourist facilities say that they had more bookings in previous years, Cenk Araoğlu said. It should be noted that there was a problem of electricity supply in Şatili for years. The reason for this was the damage of hydropower plant in the region. As the founder of Cafe Sunflowers points out, the problems related to hydropower plant in the region are almost solved. In particular, the old hydropower plant in the region was put into operation in a pilot mode, and at this stage, the observation process is underway to see how well it will work. Therefore, currently Şatili is supplied with electricity.
BMG Baku office is next to report for you. In Azerbaijan, the digitalization of the economy is steadily advancing year by year, with MasterCard playing a pivotal role in this transformative process. This was emphasized by the regional manager and general director of MasterCard to gain insights into Azerbaijan's position regarding digital consumers and MasterCard's plans for the region. We invite you to watch the interview put together by the BMG Baku office.
Mr. Yudal, Mr. Zenal, good day. Firstly, I want to say thank a lot to agreeing to answer to our question. Firstly, I would like to talk about MasterCard's success in Azerbaijan in 2023. Please tell us about that.
Thank you for the question. Well, Azerbaijan is one of the most important countries for MasterCard, and we have a stellar success in this market as per digitizing the Azerbaijan economy. If you check the digitization figure in Azerbaijan, which we define as card expenditure as a share of, as a percentage of personal consumption expenditure in total, we see a figure of 31% last year in 2023, and this has grown significantly in the last few years. If you check the figure before that, the year before that, the figure was 25%. And if you go back to 7-8 years now, it would be as low as 5-6% levels. So what I can say is we are digitizing the economy at a very, very fast pace. And this is actually an integrated effort of the government, of the central bank, as well as all the participants in the ecosystem. So Azerbaijan digitization has grown to this level thanks to new technologies coming in the picture. So as you very well know, a couple of years ago, we have introduced our tokenization service, our digital wallets in this market. And thanks to that, you can now do NFC transactions in Azerbaijan market. Thanks to this, and thanks to our issuing partners, acquiring partners, as well as our central bank, we have taken the share of tokenized transactions, meaning NFC transactions, in this country to 30% level. Hence, combining all these, we have digitized the economy significantly. So we call ourselves very successful in that sense, because thanks to all these participants, we have been able to grow Azerbaijan economic digitization to this level. And I'm sure at this pace now, we will continue. We will continue to grow, digitizing the economy at this pace now. And with all new and thrilling value propositions in the market, this trend will continue. Also, there will be new players coming in the market with the new legislation allowing e-money institutions in the market as well. So the market being more and more democratized, being more and more crowded as per value proposition. Now, I believe this digitization trend will continue with the growth phase.
The next question. We know the MasterCard is a global innovative company, and doesn't stay still, and is rapidly evolving. Yeah. Please tell us about the innovation MasterCard plans to bring to the Azerbaijan market. Please.
Thank you for the great question. Well, as you called it out, we are a technology company, and we have been introducing new technologies across the world. If I start so we can define our strategy in three main pillars. So our main goal is digitizing the economy. So we already talked about it. The second pillar is our multi-rail strategy, meaning digitizing not only the personal consumption expenditure, but other money flows as well. So, and the third strategy is of Mastercard is growing the services that we present in the market. So, if I start with the first one, we will continue growing the digitized consumer-based and citizen-based in the country with new programs. So, in the world, we announced a program called FinTech Express, and we want to grow the number of players in the market with new entrants in the market, such as e-money institutions, so that they can start issuing their own value proposition in very short periods of time. So that will be one focus area. The second focus area, and it's very important, is that the second domain is which is very important for digitizing the economy, is card acceptance for sure. And if you look at it from two different angles, the first one being physical, we plan to grow the tap on phone solution, which allows low-cost card acceptance in the market. And we want to grow our tap-on-phone acquiring base so that more and more small, medium enterprises do start collecting card payments. So that's one pillar. And the second important thing is e-commerce for sure, right? It is the most important pillar of digitizing the economy. Because e-commerce in general is digital, right? The whole e-commerce ecosystem is digital. Hence, we want to make sure that we support growing of e-commerce ecosystem, and with that purpose, we will be growing our Masterpass merchant base. We have launched Masterpass a long time ago in this market, but you're going to see new innovative solutions built on Masterpass rails so that e-commerce in the market will continue growing. If I give you an example around it, if you have a card stored on card on file of Masterpass solution, today, if your card expires or a new card is sent to you, you need to change the card that is currently on the card on file. But with the new structure that we built, you won't be forced to change your card by yourself manually. But the automated system, in connection with the APIs with your issuer, will actually replace the card in your system. Hence, with that technology, you're going to be seeing that a seamless transaction flow built around it. And if I jump to the other parts, which is the second pillar of our strategy, which is the multi-rail strategy, Mastercard has been digitizing world economy, world GDP in all fronts, including personal consumption expenditure, B2B flows, tourism flows, government flows. So if I focus on for 1 second the cross-border flows, you're going to see more and more solutions of Mastercard around cross-border remittance. On that front, we see that the current value propositions in the market are not transparent enough, the costs are very high, and most importantly, the money does not flow in short period of time, which is a need in today's world. Everything is instant, right? Almost everything needs to be instant from the lens of the consumer. So with the cross-border send solution, that allows the consumers to send money to accounts almost instantaneously. We will be growing our presence on this space. And for the last pillar of our strategy, which is the services, well, we are one of the largest consultancy companies in the region. Hence, you're going to be seeing us more and more in this market with our consultancy services. But that's not enough. We are focusing on using data, using our commerce data to help our members, issuers and acquirers, and other participants of the ecosystem to make right business decisions using the commerce data, and data and security solutions with our wording will be a very important focus area as per our innovation strategy in Azerbaijan.
Mr. Gurdal, please tell us about the collaboration strategy with Azerbaijan Bank, including the Central Bank. What decisions and projects launched is the Mastercard working on with Azerbaijan banks?
Of course, maybe Emil will also add on to what I will try to summarize. But what I can say is, in this very market, Azerbaijan partners actually work very closely with Mastercard. When we introduce a new technology, whenever we present it to the central bank, they are very, very collaborative because they are actually trying to make sure that the digitization in the economy of Azerbaijan grows and continues. I mean, normally, I'm speaking globally, regulators try to control technology, even sometimes slow them in the global terms. But when I come to Azerbaijan, it's not the story. Whenever we meet with the central bank, actually they are always trying to first understand the solution for sure, assess from a security perspective, but also then try to digitize. If it is helping and supporting growth of digitize of the economy, they are very, very collaborative. They are guiding us in all fronts. And if I come to the issues and acquires the members as the second part of your question, whenever we do launch something global, let's say an acquisition globally, whenever we present it to our local partners in Azerbaijan, they're very, very receptive. Very recently, we have acquired a company around AI, artificial intelligence, called Brighterion, and there is huge demand for their services and solutions in this market. Our current value proposition around this company is about detecting a fraudulent transaction, segregating a normal, regular transaction from a fraudulent transaction. So, for instance, that model is received very well in this market, and I'm sure will continue to grow. We will be continuing to launch new value propositions across affluent, private banking, and mass segments in the market with our local partners in the country. And as well as that, we will continue to grow acceptance base. So for you to digitize the economy, you have to do two things. You have to make sure that you cover the whole population. So that's the first pillar. And the second pillar is you have to cover the whole small, medium enterprise merchant space so that people having a car in their pockets could actually use them for their everyday needs. So that is the second pillar of our strategy. And with low-cost acceptance solutions, we will continue growing the acceptance base in Azerbaijan so that an individual, a citizen, will not need any cash in their pocket, in their wallet. I mean, if you check my wallet now, I don't have any cash because I don't need it. I don't need it, and very soon we will come to a point that in Azerbaijan, in Baku, you won't need any cash at all. So that is the target, and I'm sure we're going to reach it very soon. Thank you.
The next question to you, Mr. Zeynal. As you know, Azercard is a large hosting center in our country. Yeah? Tell us about the collaboration with Azercard and future projects.
Yes, thank you very much. As you know, Azercard, as you said, is the biggest processing center in Azerbaijan. And last year, in 2023, we established a strategic cooperation with this company. As you know, data is the most precious asset that any company can have, and Azercard is considering to use this data for data monetization. And as MasterCard, we are ready to support Azercard with our global know-how, with our new product and services, so that they can offer their customers more tailor-made services and products. And we hope that in very short perspective, we can introduce new products and services to the market with cooperation with Azercard.
The questions: what transportation project is a MasterCard working on in Azerbaijan?
As MasterCard, we have very deep know-how and knowledge in terms of transit segment, with thousands of projects all over the world, where we introduced opportunity to use your credit card or debit card to pay for your transit fare. And of course, we would like to use our know-how, products and services in Azerbaijan as well. And in 2021, we introduced an opportunity for Shamakhă citizens to use their cards for in buses in Shamakhă. And we are ready to share our know-how with other cities, and including Baku as well. But we are cooperating with government institutions as well as our partner banks to introduce EMV payments in Baku as well within a short period of time. As I said, we have a very global know-how in terms of transit, and we, as you know, Baku is the biggest city which attracts many tourists all over the world, and that's why we are very interested to bring this technology to Baku as well.
Prepared, Mr. Gudal. The next question. Another important area is a small and medium enterprise. Please tell us about Mastercard's products in Azerbaijan for this segment, business segment.
Of course. Well, once again, the small medium enterprises actually is the backbone of any economy. Now, not only Azerbaijan, but the whole world, right? So the economy sits on the shoulders of small medium enterprises. So the first important thing is acceptance. So we need to make sure that card acceptance is penetrated towards small medium enterprises. And in Azerbaijan, you will see a lot of high-end, very technological POS terminals across many parts of the city, of the country. We want to continue this expansion. But for us to penetrate, especially towards micro businesses, meaning the smaller pieces of the merchants, we need to use low-cost solutions, low-cost acceptance solutions. So our main focus is to make sure that by penetrating low-cost terminal devices or low-cost acceptance solutions towards micro businesses, acceptance is 100%. So that is the goal. We have to make sure that if you go to a shop, you're going to find a POS terminal. For that purpose, we have recently introduced our Tap on Phone solution, which allows small and medium enterprises to start accepting cards with their existing terminals, phone devices, smartphones. So that is a very important strategy. And also for their own payments towards their vendors, digitizing those flows is also another important focus area for us. If you can digitize the whole transaction flows, then you have a digital economy. So that's another focus area we have right now in Azerbaijan. We want to make sure that small, medium enterprises do make their transactions via cards as well, rather than cash or rather than other flows. So that's an important focus area of us. With new value propositions and with the support of the regulator, we want to grow our presence in small, medium enterprises space.
Final question. As you know, Azerbaijan is actively developing the digital monarch. Is Mastercard collaborating with the Central Bank of Azerbaijan on this project? Tell me, please.
Well, we are in partnership with Central Bank with almost all agenda items that they have on their table. So we have a very close relation. Here's what happens. Whenever there is a new technological advancements, we sit with Central Bank and define them what we are doing on that space, what other governments or central banks is working on, and we have a huge collaboration from that angle. Also, at sometimes they call us, they want to have views on certain initiatives that they have on their agenda, and we also work on those as well. So coming to your question, whenever something is of their focus, we partner with them, and I want to thank them for all this transparent and open relation. That is very, very important, not only for their regulatory purposes, but also for the development and digitization of Azerbaijan economy. Huge thanks to all our partners in regulators, and Central Bank especially.
Mr. Yurdal and Mr. Zeynal, I say to thank a lot for interesting and full answers. That's all to say. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much for your time as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last week, CityPayo, a fintech startup based in Georgia, secured a $10 million USD Series A investment from Tether, making a significant milestone for the Georgian startup ecosystem. Tether is a major player in the digital asset industry. It is renowned for its diverse product offerings, including the leading stablecoin USDT. This investment represents unprecedented support for Georgian startups and highlights the growing interest in innovative financial technologies within the region. In the exclusive interview with BMG's Tech Inform, Tether's CEO Paolo Arduino talked to Giorgi Aroni about investment in CityPay and Tether's involvement in Georgia.
Paolo, hi. Thank you for the interview. It's a pleasure to talk to you once again here in Tbilisi. That's very important. The last time we talked was roughly 10 months ago in July of 2023. Back then, when I said in my introduction that Tether's market cap, USDT's market cap, was at 83 billion roughly. Today is at 110 billion roughly. That's more or less 22% gain within 10-month period. What do you attribute that growth to mainly?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me again. It's always a pleasure. Yes, we had an amazing growth in the last 10 months. $110 billion is an important threshold for us. The reason of this growth is due to the fact that unfortunately the world is not going into a nicer direction. We are seeing the instability from the geopolitical side. We are seeing more uncertainty in the world today. The sad reality is that many countries are subject to really fast devaluation of their national currencies. Let's think about the Argentina or Turkey, Lebanon. This is a common story across tens, if not more than 100 countries. The common denominator of in these countries is that communities living there are either unbanked, so they don't have a fair access to a bank account, just because they are too poor of being of interest of banks, or simply they are afraid that their national currency will devalue too quickly. The Argentine peso lost 98% of its value against the US dollar in 5 years, and the Turkish lira around 80% of its value against the US dollar in 5 years. So all these local communities are honestly sick and tired of being struggling. Imagine a person working in Argentina from January to December. They work really hard, and at the end of the year they are poorer compared to the beginning of the year, just because everything you import from the outside in the country is paid in dollars. And so people are just looking for alternatives, and they found USDT as the best alternative. For them is the digital dollar. Is a dollar that they can hold on their smartphone. They can spend it. If you go in Argentina, in Tbilisi as well, but in Argentina, every corner, every shop accepts USDT. And unfortunately, I don't see this pattern stopping. We are always hearing, even there is an official statement research from the Brazilian Central Bank and Minister of Economy, saying that in Brazil, more than 85% of all digital asset and digital transactions are made today in USDT. So is definitely a story of success for Tether, but at the same time, our success in a way means that the world needs to change, needs to find its stability back, because that's that's a sense that is the requirement for everyone to live a nice life, to feel safe, is to have trust in their own government and in their own currency.
One of the things that should be noted about Tether is that within the crypto industry, it is one of the most transparent companies, and Tether publishes its quarterly and annual reports that are audited by the BDO, one of the top audit firms in the world. Paolo, let me ask you about the financial results for first quarter of 2024. What profit did Tether generate?
2024, the first quarter was an incredible quarter for us. The company made $4.5 billion in profit. Considering that it's a company that has slightly less than 100 employees, it's been named by, I didn't check honestly, but it's been named probably the company with the highest profit per person in the world ever. Of course, I'm proud of that. I believe that our team is incredible. We made the unthinkable possible. We started in 2014 with a simple idea that was putting, the dollar, that most used currency in the world, on top of the best fintech technology that we had available, that was the blockchain. And 10 years after, Tether is actually changing the world. It is being used by 300-400 million people around the world. It's considered lifeline for all the unbanked and the emerging markets. And how we made money is very simple. In the last year, something changed. As I said, a lot of national currencies had a huge inflation. And what happened is that even the US, that is considered probably the most stable country in the world, started to raise the interest on their debt. And Tether today holds around $100 billion of US debt in US Treasury bills. And in really short term, so it's extremely secure, we hold 3 months T-bills. And only that, without considering the other investments and the other activities that we're making, is yielding around $6 billion per year, only that. And so this quarter was incredible because these returns, these earnings, allow us to keep reinvesting in companies that are part of our philosophy and vision. So we didn't distribute much to the shareholders, actually. Actually, the vast majority of these profits are going to be used to carry forward our philosophy of disintermediation, decentralization, and improving people's lives from the financial sector to the telecommunication, and data ownership sector. So we believe that countries like Georgia should be empowered with their own communication tools to keep control over their own citizens' data. And even further, we are investing in biotech, because also we believe that a company like us, that honestly has been lucky. We did really good things ourselves. I think that we had a great idea, but I cannot still believe the success we had. And since we had this success, we have to give back. And especially when it comes to medical research and biotech, it's really important that we invest a good part of these profits to help people that are less fortunate. So this is in a nutshell our current strategy, and you can see it on our website, tether.io.
You've mentioned investments, and one of the, well, actually already a couple of investments you made in Georgia as well. One we discussed last time, roughly 10 months ago, investment in CityPay.io. But now, just yesterday, you announced a new investment, Series A funding to CityPay.io, 10 million USD, which is probably the biggest investment round for the Georgian startup ecosystem so far. You also, a few months back, you also invested in Academy of Digital Industries as well in Georgia. In general, what are your goals that you're trying to achieve with these investments? And also, could you share some details about the investments themselves?
First of all, the Georgian market is full of great companies. I'm really impressed. And also great developers. You have so much talent. So in general, I think that speaks really highly about the quality of the education here, because with so much talent, you have to have great universities. We partner with few universities here on the educational side for that specific reason. And yes, we started, tapping our toes into the water with CityPay last year. And with this year, with this bigger investment, we believe that from Georgia, CityPay can actually expand the entire CIS region to be the most important digital payment provider across all the neighbor countries. For that, of course, you need capital. You need to, because you have to expand, you have to purchase more hardware, but also you have to hire more people. And we find the founders of CityPay really well aligned with us. They are incredibly good at executing. They are humble, they are smart, and they can keep growing, maintain the company lean. That is very, very important in order to keep control over the operations. And on the other side, I mention all the time that education is really important for us, and I was impressed by the results that Academy of Digital Industries was able to achieve in a really short time graduating more than 20,000 students with 50 different courses, of course repeated multiple times, but that is, I think, one of the best approaches that I have seen when it comes to EduTech. In 2020, with the pandemic, I'm Italian, and I saw the struggle of Italy when the pandemic struck, and no school was ready for digital education. No child had access to an iPad. No teacher was able to use Zoom. No, it was a complete mess. For 1 year, from kids to university students, they could not learn anything, could not participate to anything. Maybe in Georgia you were better off. But this, we have to learn from history, and what we learn is that education can be disintermediated and can be improved on a large scale, on a global scale. And so that's what we want to do. Not just blockchain education. There are so many initiatives around the blockchain education. What we do care is to use EduTech, so these platforms that we are developing with Academy of Digital Industries, to form the best electricians, the best plumbers, the best online social marketers, the best developers, the best economists. You can do everything already online. We have the tools. Humanity is trying to go to Mars. Maybe we should really focus on simpler things that are reforming education globally.
Should we expect any more investments from Tether in Georgia soon?
We have a few investments in the pipeline. Of course, I cannot disclose them today, but I fell in love with Georgia, so definitely yes.
Thank you very much, Paolo, for your time, and good luck to Tether in Georgia.
Likewise, and thank you very much.
And that's all for today. We will meet next Sunday, 11 a.m. sharp. But before that, stay calm and stay with BM.G for more updates on business and economics in Georgia, in the region, and beyond.
The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.